Hey guys, what's up? Welcome to the best attachments for every single weapon in the entire game, updated for Season 5. A ton of people have been asking me to make this video. Anders, where's the weapons video? It's right here. It's right here. Relax, okay? Relax. Now, we have a ton of stuff to get into in this video. Obviously, because they keep adding more weapons, have to keep remaking the goddamn video. So, if you enjoy the video, hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. If you want to keep updated with the best attachments for every weapon in the entire game, subscribe to the channel, turn notifications on. I always make videos like this, and I always try to test the setups to make sure I believe I'm delivering you the greatest setups for sure. Now, without further ado, SMG category. We will go down through the categories, and that's how we're going to do this. So first off, PBX 45. I like the tactical compensator and or wrap suppressor with the MGL laser sight and close combat, standard issue extended, and high power. General rule for every single weapon in this list. You're generally going to want to fill out your attachment slots so you have options. Now, on some weapons, you're not going to be having the same amount of options, but that's okay. Also, this fascinating new ability dice added a year and a half later into the game. You can actually remove attachments. Watch this. Gone. Right? Gone. Couldn't do that. Took me a year and a half to do that. So, anyway. PP29. Moving on to this. Okay, just equipped it. I'm an idiot. Go over here. PP29 still one of the best SMGs in the entire game. I actually prefer to run the tactical compensator or wrapped suppressor on it. Still pretty standard. Use standard issue. For your first ammo type you switch to, then high power and subsonic. Very, very good weapon. Probably the best SMG in the game, or one of the best SMGs in the game still. MP9. Most of the setups for the SMGs haven't really changed that much. Tactical compensator, MGL laser sight, close combat drum. I have been messing with the wrap suppressor on the MP9 because it's so bad at range. I figured, what's the fucking point of having the tactical compensator? So I find myself using the wrap suppressor a lot more on this. As far as the K30 or the Vector is concerned, still same thing. Tactical compensator, MGL laser sight. I like generally mixing the more accuracy from the tactical compensator with the more hipfire accuracy from the MGL laser sight and reduced recoil. I feel like that's a nice balance of things and just makes the weapon more generally effective, which I believe is very important. AC9, kind of the new K30, but not really. I use the Arcom tactical muzzle brake on this thing. It's one of the only guns in the game that I would recommend using this on. I find that it's accurate enough with the BCG light grip, and I think the Arcom tactical muzzle brake helps get rid of a lot of that horizontal recoil. If you want the max amount of fire rate on this thing, use close combat extended. If you want a more generally like ranged effective, but still very high fire rate SMG, use standard issue. But yeah, switch between those two. P90. These weapons I think will be getting new attachments just like the ARs, but since this video they have not, unfortunately. Flash suppressor, reflex, laser sights. For the AKS-74U, same thing pretty much. Reflex, flash suppressor, laser sight. The reason I don't suggest the foregrip is these weapons have such little recoil as it is that I find that it's pretty much useless. You can just use the laser sight and just get the benefit from that. And a sleeper weapon, guys, don't sleep on the PP2000. The PP2000 does scar damage. Okay? It's insane. Reflex sight, default muzzle, and extended mag. And obviously there's no default underbarrel, unfortunately. But maybe that will change when they give the Vault SMGs and Vault LMGs some attachments. Now to the assault rifles. Disclaimer for the assault rifle category. The assault rifles, as of right now, still have the spread nerfs and all that sort of stuff. So I have changed some things in order to kind of compensate for that on some of the weapons. But in general, a lot of the setups will be the same. So yeah. M5A3. Shortened barrel and LWG grip. I think this is generally just what you want to run on the M5. The LWG grip instead of the BCG grip is because I find myself moving a lot more, and the LWG grip gives me more accuracy than the BCG grip while moving. So I feel like that is definitely the reason I go with that. Then use standard issue extended for a general use case scenario, close combat and high power. In general, on assault rifles and any weapons that you're going to want to be running more underbarrels on, particularly grenade launchers, definitely fill them out. You'll see if I wanted to, I could run smoke grenades for free, by the way, or I could run smoke grenades and a grenade launcher or an incendiary grenade launcher. So yeah, definitely utilize your grenade launchers on the ARs. So the AM40, still one of the best ARs in the game, just shreds things. Tactical Compensator, MGL Laser Sight, Standard Issue Drum Mag, great gun, just destroys everything. AK-24, Tactical Compensator, and I found that the grip attachment actually doesn't do much for this weapon at all. This weapon is so accurate that I think you can get away with running all the grenade launcher types. Now, if you wanted to run a grip, I suggest running either the MGL Laser Sight, which I guess technically isn't a grip, or the BCG Light Grip for like one of the most accurate assault rifles in the whole game. Scar, run the Tactical Compensator. You cannot remove the Scar's underbarrel grenade launchers, so just use all of them. Make sure you switch between AP and Incendiary. Then use high power drum mag, high power, and standard issue. I would generally try to stay on high power though. Standard issue is kind of just it's mediocre. AC-42 gun remains one of the strongest weapons in the game. I feel like using a suppressor on this is generally more effective than using the Tactical Compensator because the suppressor, it just keeps out the radar, and I don't feel the benefit from the Tactical Compensator at all. This weapon is extremely accurate. The STNR Laser Sight is a huge get on this gun because it reduces the overall felt recoil of each burst, and that's incredibly effective. Use Wrap Suppressor, STNR Laser Sight, Standard Issue Extended, Standard Issue and High Power. Then, of course, fill out the grenade launcher slots as you go. RM68, this is going to be seeing a nerf in the near future. It's going to be seeing its muzzle velocity reduced. With that being said, I still think the best setup for this weapon is going to be the one that I'm showing you today. Shortened barrel, MGL Laser Sight, Standard Issue Extended, and Close Combat will actually not be here. So maybe instead of Close Combat, put Standard Issue or just High Power in general. And yeah, that should be good for that. Still going to be one of the best guns in the entire game, even after the nerfs. The new assault rifle for Season 5, the GEW 46. I've been messing around with this gun a little bit. Let me just do this. I've been messing around with this gun for a little bit. I generally find the factory barrel to be the most useful thing for this gun. The reason I don't suggest the Wrap Suppressor is because you're constantly spotted in this game, and even though it takes you off the radar, you're still spotted by Casper drone, tugs, Q-Spot, and a slew of other things. And the only reason I suggested it on the AC-42 is because I just don't feel like any of the other barrels are worth it. So yeah, use factory barrel, LWG grip, high power extended, high power, and standard issue. You can mess around with the STNR Laser Sight, but this gun has such little recoil that I feel like the extra accuracy is definitely something you want to go for there. M16A3. M16A3, for whatever reason, they actually removed the reflex sights, which I'm not too happy about. But, you know, sight of your choice, of course. Tactical Compensator or Wrap Suppressor, LWG grip, and, of course, fill out your underbarrels here. Standard Issue Extended, and, of course, Standard Issue. ACWR. Do not sleep on this gun. They secretly updated it to have a 4 bullet to kill range, and this actually kills significantly faster than the Scar within 30 meters. It's a force to be reckoned with, and I don't think people truly know that it's actually this good now, because it used to be one of the worst guns in the game, but now it's not. It's very good. Use the default muzzle, STNR Laser Sight, and just fill out your ammo types here, and you should be good to go with that gun. AN91. The AN91, I would suggest either, again, Tactical Compensator, Wrap Suppressor, and just slap on either the Cobra Grip or the Laser Sight. Cobra Grip, I think, will give you a little bit more performance. Laser Sight is not that useful, in my opinion, because I think you're just going to lose out to other weapons in close quarters. Standard Issue Extended, Standard Issue, of course. That's generally going to be the rule with any of these vault weapons. Just fill out your ammo types in general. For the M416, not much to be had here. This gun does not have a lot of recoil. I would not recommend the Warhawk Compensator. Factory barrel, Wrap Suppressor, LWG, fill out your underbarrels, fill out your ammo types. MSR-21. This weapon also saw a buff to its damage model. This now has a 4 bullet to kill range within 15 meters at a blistering 900 RPM, which makes it the best close-range assault rifle in the entire game. It absolutely shreds everything. This is one of the few weapons that I would recommend a Warhawk Compensator on. This gun has pretty nasty recoil, if I'm being honest. The Warhawk really helps with that. LWG grip, or you could get away with a laser sight if you're going like pure close quarters, then standard issue, and then standard issue. Oh, that's the LMG category. And for the final AR, the AK-971. Dice, I have to plead with you here. This gun just feels terrible, Dice. Can you please make this gun feel better? As you can see, I really haven't used it that much. But, you know, in general, I would probably recommend either the Warhawk Compensator or the Tactical Compensator. This gun has nasty recoil again. In fact, I would recommend the Warhawk Compensator. Nasty recoil, has a bit of a weird reload delay right now, and generally just feels pretty awful, which is very unfortunate for one of the best guns in the game. I would suggest running this pure close quarters because of its ineffectiveness at range. So Warhawk Compensator, LS1 laser sight. Use this as kind of like, hey, if you're in that room, I'm coming in, and close quarters only type of weapon. Then make sure to fill out your grenade launchers here. This gun has LVG, by the way, just so you know. This is one of the only guns in the game that has LVG. I think the M16A3 has LVG as well. Very good grenade launcher type. Before we move on to the LMGs, if you're enjoying the video and you want to keep up to date with anything Battlefield, anything FPS really, I'll be covering XDefiant, BattleBit, the finals, pretty much the works. So if you enjoy the video, hit the like button, and of course, subscribe to the channel. Over 70% of people that watch my videos are not subscribed, and I would like to see that number increase. We're trying to barrel towards 50K, and I have something special planned at 50K. So yeah, thank you to anyone that does that. I really appreciate you. Moving on to the LMGs. As it stands right now, the LMGs are probably meta in Battlefield 2042 just because of the AR nerfs. This is as of June 16th, by the way, just to give people context of like if you're watching this later. So they might update stuff later. But the LCMG, short barrel, LWG grip, standard issue extended. I believe I looked at a chart, and this is actually the fastest killing setup in the entire game for any LMG right now. I think besides the PKP. This is generally going to be the most effective setup in the game for any LMG. Believe it or not, close combat actually doesn't make you kill things faster. Not even within its minimum damage range. Standard issue extended still outkills things with a short barrel. So this is the best. This is one of the best LMG setups you can have right now. It shreds everything, incredibly accurate. Recoil can be a little bit difficult, but I think if you practice, you'll be fine. Advances. Since the nerfs, this is one of the weapons that you can kind of feel the accuracy nerf on. For that reason, I recommend the Tactical Compensator, LS1 laser sight, or the BCG light grip. I kind of like the laser sight. The reason I don't run the STNR laser sight is I feel like the recoil on this weapon is low enough to where I would rather have the full hipfire benefit. You can make that decision yourself, but I prefer the full hipfire benefit. Standard issue extended, standard issue, and high power are going to be your go-to ammo types. As far as the PKP, once again, Dice, I have to plead with you, please buff this gun in some way. It is god-fucking awful, but if you wish to torture yourself, use the Arcom tactical muzzle brake to just try to get rid of that horizontal recoil, and high power extended. This is still one of the fastest killing LMGs in the game. Unfortunately, it just feels terrible. I'm just going to let you know that right now, ladies and gentlemen. RPT-31, one of my favorite LMGs in the game besides the LCMG. Short barrel, basically just kills things faster all the time, just like the LCMG. Excellent. STNR laser sight, another great choice. Just generally makes the gun more effective, easier to control, better hip fire. Then the ammo types you're going to want to run here. High power extended, high power, and dude, standard issue on this gun rips. It's 790 RPM out of an LMG is crazy. So switch between high power extended and standard issue, and you're going to have a very, very versatile weapon that reaches out to distances that the ARs can't really reach out to anymore. Moving on to the M60E4. Flash suppressor, laser sight, extended mag. Nothing's really changed with that. It's still kind of mediocre. So maybe they will see some changes to the LMGs when they update the Vault LMGs. XM8, there's nothing to talk about here because you cannot change any of the attachments. M240B, flash suppressor, foregrip, extended mag. Generally on these Vault LMGs, the factory barrel just has no upside, so just use the flash suppressor. Type 88, I wouldn't recommend this LMG, ladies and gentlemen. It is not good. Flash suppressor, foregrip, extended mag. Then the last, but certainly not least, and probably the coolest LMG, in my personal opinion, the RPK-74M. Use whatever sight, you know, if I didn't say that already. Personal preference on the sight category, of course. Flash suppressor, foregrip, extended mag. This is one of the only magazine-fed LMGs in the game. I believe the XM8 is the only other one. As far as the sidearm category is concerned, the G57 did see a nerf, but it's still overpowered. They really only made it feel terrible to shoot in ADS. Just don't shoot at ADS, shoot in hipfire. It's still one of the best sidearms in the game, if not the best sidearm in the game. But the Deagle, which is newly added in Season 5, does give it a run for its money in terms of just sheer power. We'll go over that a little bit later. G57. Use either the suppressor or the tactical compensator. I like the added accuracy bonus of the tactical compensator. Laser sight, drum magazine, very straightforward. MP28. MP28, bit of a DMR pistol. Very, very effective at range. Tactical compensator, laser sight. And use the drum magazine, standard issue drum. I do not have it since I do not use the MP28. Magnum. Do not sleep on the Magnum. This gun two-shots people out to 100 meters. It's absolutely insane. If you want a true hand cannon, even more so than the Deagle, this is your hand cannon right here. Factory barrel, high power. There is really nothing else to talk about, unfortunately. Not have that many attachments. PF51, kind of like a 51 round SMG with 900 RPM as a secondary. Use either factory barrel or tactical compensator. This gun does have a bit of recoil, so I could see if you wanted to use factory barrel. Laser sight in general, and standard issue. If you want to take yourself off the radar and also don't have people receive hit markers when they're being shot by you, use the suppressor in coordination, in conjunction with subsonic rounds. That'll just make you very annoying in general. Moving on to the NVK, bit of a strange pistol. This is also a sleeper at range. It has quite good range for what it is. Use factory barrel, laser sight, and of course standard issue extended. I haven't really used it, but I've certainly been killed by it out to incredible distances. The 2-round burst fire pistol, not quite as good as the Glock in my opinion, but it is very effective at what it does. Super 500, I've been seeing this a lot more recently. Not much to talk about here. Factory barrel, and definitely just use buckshot. Yeah, that's just a secondary shotgun. What more could I even explain, you know? Now onto the BFP50, or the Deagle, as everyone knows it. This gun is insane. This gun two-shots you at 240 RPM, semi-automatic. Has no barrel attachments, which is kind of unfortunate because I kind of wanted to see like a silly suppressor at the front of this thing. Use the laser sight and high power. I would not use close combat. It's just crazy, ladies and gentlemen. One-shot headshots out to, I believe, 30 meters. It does have significant recoil, though. So definitely use a red dot sight. This is one of the only guns in this entire video that I will recommend you do not use the iron sights or any sight in general other than a red dot. Yeah. Incredibly powerful, but comes with incredible recoil to boot. M1911. I like just using factory barrel with tactical light, just a clean, simple gun. Decent damage, will get the job done. Rex, this gun actually got significantly buffed. I believe it two-shot kills you in the chest out to 40 meters now, or might one-shot headshot you out to 40 meters now. Either way, it's still very good. Very close quarters, insta-kill two-tap weapon, much like the Deagle. Very, very effective. Not much to talk about in terms of attachments. 93R. Again, not much to talk about in terms of attachments. Use the Glock over the 93R, in my opinion. And for the MP443, to be honest, guys, just don't use the MP443. It's not that good. There's not much to talk about with the attachments on that weapon either. Moving on to another weapon category. Now, under the marksman category. Little disclaimer here for controller players. If you play on Xbox, if you play on PlayStation, if you play on PC with controller, the DM7 and the SVK, and generally any weapons with harsh initial recoil, right? Per shot recoil. They're going to be more effective on controller because controller actually gets less recoil, so you can spam them a little bit better. If you don't believe me about the controller recoil, I will link Synthic.com in the description down below. It gives an explanation of how controller input reduces recoil by 25%. I'm not trying to like talk shit. I'm just trying to inform you guys that these weapons might be better for you to use on controller. With that being said, DM7, I messed with this gun a ton. I like the factory barrel and the LWG grip. Fill out your grenade launchers. Everyone likes a DMR with a grenade launcher. And I find that generally the best ammo type to use is standard issue. I tried making it work with like a weird close quarter setup. I just don't like it very much. Standard issue, LWG grip, and factory barrel. Gonna be your go-to there. SVK, for the fans of the Battlefield 1 RSC, this is a Battlefield 1 RSC if it was doing a steroid cycle. It has higher RPM, it 2 shots in the chest out to 100 meters, and it has a 16 round magazine. It's one of the best guns in the game, period. Short barrel, laser sight, standard issue extended. I would actually use the STNR laser sight on this gun, but unfortunately I don't have it equipped. So, yeah. The reason I would use the STNR laser sight is it reduces recoil a little bit, and it's going to make it feel a little less sharp when you shoot it. VCAR. VCAR is actually not that bad, ladies and gentlemen. Use the tactical compensator. If you have an incredible trigger finger, you can probably get away with a shortened barrel. Unfortunately, I just can't click that fast to max this shortened barrel attachment out. So, any like finger gods, you can try the shortened barrel. But if you're a normal mortal like myself, tactical compensator, LWG grip, close combat drum. Standard issue is okay, but you really don't get that much ammo. BSVM, still one of the most overpowered guns in the game, even after it was nerfed, I think, at least twice, if not 3 times. Shortened barrel, just straight up kill things faster, shoots faster, you know, take you off the minimap, stealth at 40 meters, it's just nuts. LWG grip. One of the things they nerfed about this gun is the accuracy. You can absolutely feel that nerf, which is why I recommend the LWG grip. High power extended, subsonic high power extended, close combat. One thing to note about this weapon is you can take this weapon from a sort of full auto DMR to a 800 RPM submachine gun with just switching ammo types. So this is one of the most versatile weapons in the entire game. M39 EMR and SVD. These 2 weapons have the exact same setups. I just clicked on the Bison somehow. These 2 weapons have the exact same setups, which are factory barrel and foregrip. These 2 weapons, don't sleep on them. They 2-shot out to, I believe, 50 or so meters, and the RPM is crazy. 300 RPM, 257 for the SVD. Very, very effective weapons. 20-round magazine on the M39 EMR as well. These are some of my personal favorites to whip out. They are very effective, especially on controller, like I mentioned previously. Moving on to the SWS and all the sniper categories. Again, I have to emphasize, if you enjoy the video, hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. I really do appreciate all you guys that do that. Thank you guys so much for supporting the channel so well. SWS 10, the first sniper you get in the game. Some people like to run snipers, you know, differently based on, I guess, sort of its intended purpose. For me, I like making sure that I hit things at range. And for that, I always recommend the extended barrels. Ever since they nerfed the sniper one-shot distance, which was 20 meters and below, I don't feel as though sniping close quarters is viable. So that's why I recommend extended barrel. Extended barrel, laser sight, standard issue. You can use high power if you want to really fuck things up downrange. I like the extra magazine count, personally, though. DXR-1, this is the big boy long-range sniper. For that reason, max out its intended use case. Put that long barrel on there. Use high power. You know, just basically, this thing shoots flat. I mean, I think it shoots almost 1,000 meters a second bullet velocity with extended barrel and high power. Incredibly effective long-range sniper, but unfortunately it's not as effective as the railgun. Now I'm gonna include the railgun on the sniper list this time around because I do believe that is really what it's most effective at. The railgun is without question the best long-range sniper in the entire game if you can deal with the 1-second charge delay. For the railgun, there's not much to talk about here. Of course, personal preference on the site, but just use the high power capacitor for the sniper and the stream capacitor for the full auto AR version. Do not use the burst capacitor. In fact, I'm going to actually remove that. Like, the burst capacitor is god awful. Moving on to the NTW-50, this is sort of the anti-material rifle, much like the Boys AT rifle in Battlefield 5, but this time you can actually stand up and use it. If you want to just one-shot people and not think about it, and you don't want to have to hit heads, this is the gun for you. With that being said, this does incredible damage to vehicles. So if you want to actually contribute to killing vehicles and you don't want to use rocket launchers, this is not a bad choice. If you want to destroy vehicles, obviously use anti-material high power. If you want to one-shot people and be very annoying, use straight up just anti-material and that'll be great. Wait, excuse me. Did I just mess that up? Nope, never mind. Okay. The new sniper, the XCE bar. The XCE bar is pretty interesting. I believe it has the fastest rechamber rate in the game. I actually like this sniper quite a bit. The velocity is definitely lower than some of the other snipers, though. But I've been having a good time with it. I like Tactical Compensator. You can try to get away with Rap Suppressor as well. I do not have that unlocked yet. The Thermal Sight for the new map. Ladies and gentlemen, a tip for the new map. If you feel like you can't see people, whip out a Thermal Sight. It makes it so much easier to see people on the new map, and I would highly recommend that. I use the bipod right now. I'm going to use the laser sight when I unlock it. Then use standard issue extended, standard issue, and when you unlock high power, slap high power on there as well. It will lower the rate of fire. So I do think the attraction to this weapon is the rate of fire, so I would stick with standard issue extended for now. Last but certainly not least in the sniper category, the Gall Sniper Magnum. Unfortunately, there's not much to talk about, but make sure you equip the new extended mag on this, and you should be good to go. Moving on to the final category of weapons in today's video, tactical category. Let's talk about the very depressing and ineffective MCS 880. This gun has been terrible since the beginning of the game, and it's just depressing, isn't it, ladies and gentlemen? Comment down below if you're depressed about the MCS 880. Use the factory barrel, laser sight, and I find that generally the #1 buckshot is my go-to. I've tested a bunch of different things. I've tested number 4. I've tested slugs. I've tested double op buck. I still think #1 buckshot is generally the most consistent one shot I get out of this gun. Moving on to the Government 4570. Use tactical compensator, laser sight, and high power. I feel like that's just what you want to run on this gun because it extends its range a little bit. Hit higher damage in the chest. Get those one-shot headshots out to a farther distance. Speaking of one-shots, 12M auto, the most overpowered shotgun in the game. Short barrel, MGL laser sight, buckshot shell drum. It is... I hate people that use this gun, to be honest with you. I thought about skipping it in this video just so people don't know what to use on it, but it's... This gun is incredibly effective at close quarters. It's a fully automatic shotgun that actually has a one-shot range. I believe 6 meters and under. So, yeah. If you want to be a menace, use that gun in close quarters. And not quite a gun, but a weapon that people overlook quite a bit is the crossbow. The crossbow is incredibly effective. You can actually manage to hit those one-shots consistently. I like using the standard bolts, and do not use the MGL laser sight. You don't have any recoil on this weapon, so don't use a thing that reduces recoil. Just get the max benefit from the laser sight. Instead, use standard bolt and just use explosive bolts. Explosive bolts are kind of mediocre. I mean, they're kind of eh. Standard bolts are going to be your bread and butter with this weapon. And the last weapon in this 24-minute video, ladies and gentlemen, is the NVK S22. Use the factory barrel on this thing, STNR laser sight, or you can try to use the LWG grip if you would like. Use the MGL laser sight. MGL laser sight or LWG grip. Flechette is very powerful on this. Buckshot's very powerful. Slugs, if you're a marksman with them, they can be good, but I would switch between buckshot and flechette. Mostly buckshot. And that's going to do it for this video, ladies and gentlemen. So if you enjoyed the video, my brain is melting, I apologize. If you enjoyed the video, be sure to hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. I will try to get these update videos out for whenever they change anything weapon related or they add new weapons to the game. So if you don't want to miss those videos, be sure to turn notifications on. I stream every single day at twitch.tv/enders. First link in the description. Drop my channel a follow. It's free. And join the Discord. Follow me on Twitter. Both of those links are in the description as well. Thank you guys for hitting 9,000 followers on Twitter, by the way. I think a lot of you YouTube guys have been coming and following me on Thank you. Really do appreciate you guys. Thank you guys for watching. I'll see you guys later.